Pip's museum. In the grand old Museum of Natural History, tucked away in a crack behind the giant mammoth, lived a very small mouse with a very big secret. His name was Pip. When the last visitor had gone and the moon shone through the high arched windows, the museum became Pip's own quiet kingdom. He would scurry from the shadows, his tiny notebook held tight. He was the museum's secret historian. Every night, he visited a different hall, studying the magnificent creatures that stood frozen in time. He would sit for hours, his brow furrowed in concentration, sketching every detail in his book, the curve of a tusk, the pattern of a feather, the glint in a glass eye. His favorite place was the Hall of Dinosaurs. The skeletons were like giant, bony mountains. They reminded him how full of wonders the world once was. One night, he wanted to draw the T-Rex's teeth. "I need a better view," he squeaked to himself. He began to climb, scurrying up the bony tail and along the massive spine. He finally reached the giant skull and perched on its nose, ready to draw. But just then, a loud clang echoed through the hall. A cleaner's cart had bumped into a display case. Pip jumped in fright. His paws slipped, and his precious notebook, filled with all his work, tumbled from his grasp. It fell end over end, fluttering down into the darkness below. Pip watched in horror as it landed with a soft thump right beside a large wooden crate covered by a sheet. This part of the hall was closed. It was a place he had never been. His heart beat like a tiny drum. He had to get it back. Taking a deep breath, he scurried back down the skeleton, his mission clear. On the floor, he crept towards the crate. A sign on a stand read, "Coming soon." The last of its kind. Pip peeked under the sheet covering the crate. Suddenly, beams of light sliced through the darkness. The night guards. Pip froze, diving behind a wheel of the crate just as two pairs of big, black boots walked by. "Wonder what's in this one, Barry," said a deep voice. One of the guards, a kind-faced man named Stan, stopped and looked at the crate. "Sign says it's a dodo bird," said the other guard, Barry. He shone his flashlight on the sign, then moved the beam across the floor, coming dangerously close to Pip's notebook. "A dodo? Haven't seen one of those before," Stan chuckled. "Well, let's keep moving." The two guards walked on, their footsteps and voices fading down the long hall. As soon as they were gone, Pip darted out. He grabbed his notebook, holding it to his chest with relief, and scurried away from the mysterious crate. He didn't stop until he was safely back in his home, the cozy little crack behind the mammoth exhibit. His heart was still racing from the adventure. Safe inside, by the light of a captured firefly in a tiny jar, Pip opened his notebook. He smoothed out a slightly rumpled page. He turned to a fresh, blank page. At the very top, in his neatest mouse writing, he wrote a new title, "The Dodo Bird." He thought for a moment, then began to draw a plump bird with a big, curved beak. Pip looked at his drawing, then at all the other pages filled with creatures big and small. The world was so full of amazing animals, past and present, and he, Pip, was there to remember them all.
Like and subscribe Trend Life Animation for another story.